Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 1:40 on the morning of Wednesday, 1st of November, 2023, North American Eastern Time. I thought I would do a rundown of games to be played on Wednesday Eastern Time. Then I'll go into those that were played on Tuesday, that start on Tuesdays in Eastern Time. So there's going to be a couple games featuring Canadian NHL or NBA teams in action. So the Flames hosting the Dallas Stars. 8:30 Eastern Time start of the broadcast on Sportsnet Channel 1. And the Raptors be on it could be where the TSN channel there. On TSN channels 4 and 1. It's going to show the TV guide there. So that's the Raptors. And I'm going to go... Where do we go with Sportsnet here? Oops. Dallas Stars, so it's 8:30 Eastern Time. But yeah, that's good. So yeah. It's... Canucks did trail at one point against the Preds. Going to go to that home game. At one point the Canucks were behind 2-1 on two quick goals from the Preds' Colton Sissons, born in North Vancouver, and Dante Fabro. The first goal had assists from Roman Josi, Liam Foudy. The second from Phil Forsberg and ex-Leaf Ryan O'Reilly. So Sam Lafferty, a former Leaf, scored to open the game. 13:45 mark of the first period from defenseman Quinn Hughes and winger Tony Beauvillier. By the end of the first period, it was 2-1 in favor of the Preds. Things had not been looking good. But then the second period, Elias Pettersson, assisted by Hughes and Ilya Mikheyev, tied things up. Pettersson Petty again on the power play. 16:38 mark. Assisted by Andrei Kuzmenko and Filip Hronek. Miller and Petty scored the fourth and fifth respective Canucks goals. Miller's having been assisted by Brock Besser and Hughes. Petty's goal, assisted by Beauvillier and Tyron Myers. It was an empty netter. Desperate. Preds playing from desperate hockey and actually and utterly failing in that regard. So yes, the Canucks scored one power play goal. Neither team scored another special teams goal. So 1-0 on special teams goals, but 5-on-5, it's hard not to be satisfied with the performance of the Canucks overall. Not the best game in the world, with outshot 29-27, and the Canucks having taken 8 minutes worth of penalties to 6 for the Preds. JT Miller for unsportsmanlike conduct, and then hooking against Philip Forsberg was just like brutal, isn't it? The Canucks found a way to win. The Leafs, by contrast, did not. And at one point, it looked like the Leafs were going to be shut out for the first time since a 2021 loss to the Penguins. Ultimately, John Tavares did score. It was in the third period, but it was pathetic. I'm going to just update that there. I know the ESPN goal, game summaries don't automatically update. But man, oh man. Look at the the only goal the Leafs ended up scoring. John Tavares, assisted by Nylander and Marner. Among forwards, who went pointless for the Leafs? Well, Tyler Bertuzzi did, Max Domi did, Noah Gregor did, Pontus Homework did, Kyle Yarncrook did, David Kampf did, Matt Nyes did, Matthews did. Ryan Reeves. Did anyone... It was lucky that the worst plus minus of any player was Mark Giordano, nicknamed Gio, at -2. I would have thought maybe there are more to have plus minuses. In terms of face-offs, among players who took at least 5, Holmberg won 2 of 5. Kampf, 5 of 11. Matthews, 11 of 19. And Tavares, 10 of 13. So overall, mixed bag on the face-off winning side. I mean, the Leafs did have good face-offs. So, let's go to see there. These are like a kind of like over 50% something there. Let's see here, yeah. So yeah, face-offs, Leafs had 57.4% of the wins. So yeah, so just going to go through the scoring. It was mostly Kings. First period, England from Pierre-Luc Dubois, 6:38 in. Phil Deneau, 11:40 in. Next period, second period, Artur Kaliev from Kevin Fiala and Quinton Byfield, 3-0. 8:25 of the third, John Tavares on a power play. And yes, the Leafs cannot rely overly. Yes, Leafs need to score on the power play, when they get them. But the Leafs cannot just rely on their power play to get them through games. The Oilers last postseason over-relied on their PP and failed. So yeah, I hope that Sheldon Keefe called a players-only meeting. After all, the second straight loss, and the Leafs just didn't take things seriously enough. And on the post-game stream, but on the STPN YouTube page, Lauren, one of the co-hosts, claimed that in response to a question I'd asked her and her co-host Harnish Patel as to whether the Leafs, if they were at any point in the season 10 or more points out of a playoff spot, pressure would just only build for a rebuild. Lauren claimed that no, not quite pressure would be for rebuild, but certainly for bigger, bolder moves. Well, yeah, one would think so, because things aren't working. Things are going to change. The pressure will only grow for bigger, bolder moves. So the question is, what casualties there will be? How many will lose their jobs or be traded? I honestly don't know. But things are going to get ugly if the Leafs don't up the game soon. They got to start winning the games. And it's not, it's true to say that last offseason was a disaster for the Leafs, but it's not too early to say that there's concern. And there's legitimate concern about whether the Leafs can outscore their issues. Not on Tuesday Eastern Time against the Kings, that's for sure. Leafs got dethroned, figuratively speaking. It was no surprise that Marty Biron, on an episode of TSN's SportsCenter, in an interview with Lindsay Hamilton, claimed of the need for the Leafs to have depth scoring in games where the top four, like, were in case members, not enough members of the core four were to have put points up on the goals on the board. Well, there's no doubt that Halloween game, Eastern Time against the Kings, was an absolute fail. Indeed, taking a page out of a claim made about the Raptors on a mid-April episode of CTV Toronto Morning Show Breakfast TV from Cicero, that just like those Raptors, just like the season that then most recently completed season of the Raptors had been, quote, a group failure, unquote, so was that performance on Halloween the Leafs had against the Kings, a group failure. Cicero claimed on that broadcast of Breakfast TV that there had been, quote, very little imagination togetherness on the court, unquote, and that Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and their then teammates had been responsible for that. Well, togetherness on the ice, cohesion, chemistry, not there. I'm not sure what moves are going to be made. Indeed, when I look at cap friendly, it's not clear. There's no doubt that the Leafs are technically are over the cap. By over $11 million because of their use of long-term injured reserve. They have slightly over $194,000 of cap space, which is, well, almost nothing. And it'd be interesting to see what Sheldon Keefe claimed in that post-game show, but there's no doubt that when it comes to players who could be moved, well, you have the members of the core, Matthews, Tavares, and Marner with full-blown no-move clauses, Nylander with a modified no-trade clause. Morgan Riley has a full-blown no-move clause that's in effect until later on in his contract when they call them modified. And yeah, there's some. Tyler Bertuzzi among newbies has a modified no-trade clause. Indeed, there are no players with no-move clauses, bar members of the core, Bertuzzi, or Riley. So, if there is a restriction on trade other than any player I mentioned, it'll become modified. Max Domi. But again, the question is, which players should the Leafs move? Which players will Brad Treliving, the GM, move? It's hard to know. But there's no doubt that the pressure will only grow the longer this losing streak continues. Leafs have lost 2 games in a row. Last weekend was overtime against the LA Kings hours ago, was in regulation. Definitely looking forward also to watching that video post about the Teal Sports Talk YouTube ban. There's no doubt whatsoever that it was pathetic effort. Ain't gonna lie. This continues. There's gonna be pressure for moves. I'll also go back, and just before I conclude this video, go back to October of last year, an episode of City TV Toronto Morning Show Breakfast TV about claims by Cicero that neither the Jays nor Leafs have been a serious team. And I can remember that remark, no mas. That's not happening again. And if it continues to happen, we're trading guys. We're letting them go, and there's consequences. Well, certainly that's there. But for me, pressure for bigger, bolder moves is going to be I believe it's only going to grow if the longer this losing streak continues, and that was pretty much the case. We hadn't been quite mad about that loss, about a losing culture that had persisted for too long within the Leafs and Jays. Well, Blue Jays were eliminated in their opening round series, wild card series. But again, the bottom line is pressure for bigger, bolder moves is only going to grow. The Leafs continue this losing streak for long enough. Indeed, it may only be a matter of, by the end of the week, the Leafs will be out of the playoff spot if they don't get their act together. I'm very concerned about the game against the Bruins. Bruins are a good team. The Kings were. I'm afraid the Leafs are going to lose another one in regulation. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to predict that. It's not going to be close. Anyway, I invite anyone who likes the video to please click that like button. Definitely helps get my videos out there more widely. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. Please note that I try to put out videos of these every other week. And if you click the notification bell, you get more timely notifications of videos that I put out. On that note, I'm going to say, go Leafs go Raptors go. With respect to the MLS Cup playoffs, go Whitecaps go. With respect to much of the rest of the season, Go Toronto FC Go. And with respect to other Canadian national teams for which I cheer, Go Canada Go.